Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and reviewing another film that good guy here, Dustin, sent me. And I've reviewed Circuitry Man 1, which Dustin has sent me, and of course I wasn't a fan of that movie. But he also sent me the sequel, Circuitry Man II, Plughead Rewired. And yeah, I was not a fan of this movie either. I mean, again, no offense to Dustin. You know, he sent these to me as a gift. He wanted to hear my opinions on them, and that's fine. But my honest opinion is this film sucks a lot of ass. Just like the first film. In fact, I think this film is even worse than Circuitry Man 1. And I'm like, why did this even get a sequel? All the films that deserve sequels, that could get sequels, and Circuitry Man gets a sequel? An even worse film. It's written and directed by Stephen Lowe and Robert Lowe. Now, I believe Stephen Lowe directed the first film. And Stephen and Robert Lowe had written the first film. Well, here they write and direct this film. I think they did one more movie together. It was like their last movie, a film called Mix, that Stephen Lowe, I think, directed, and Robert Lowe wrote, produced, whatever. This film is a pile of nothing. It's worthless. It's pointless. It's even worse than the first film because even Vernon Wells, like in the first film, I could say I didn't mind Dennis Christopher a little bit, and Vernon Wells, I thought he was kind of fun when he was on screen, but other than that, it was a really shitty film. This, though, even Vernon Wells, I think he's pretty bad in it. I think he's in it even less, from what I remember, even less. And Dennis Christopher is in it, but he's a bit more annoying in this one. And this one seems like it was even cheaper budget, if you could believe that. So I guess if you're the most hardcore Vernon Wells fan, there's no other reason to watch this. Pretty much the story is you don't know what happened to the girl in the first movie. Because the Circuitry Man, Danner, the guy who's like a Romeo type, call him robot, cyborg, whatever you want to call him. He is for some reason in an insane asylum, a mental institution, and he's got a straitjacket. Because he's suicidal again. And I'm like, didn't he stop that at the end of the first film? These are the same people who wrote and directed the previous film. Yeah, was Circuitry Man really that big of a hit to get a sequel? And Vernon Wells, who I thought was dead in the first film, he gets revived. He has info that's the FBI wants. And pretty much long story short, he gets this scientist, played by Tracy Lords. And he wants her to make these longevity chips so that the rich people will pay. And, you know, if they pay, they get this chip and they get like another 10 years on their life. And pretty much this, you know, top bitch, really over the top bitch, gets Danner out of the institution, says, I need you to help find this guy. And I'm like, well, you find out why, because at first, like, well, wait a minute, this Danner guy, he's a Romeo type guy, so he's not going to be much of a fighter. He doesn't know where this guy is because he thought Vernon Wells was dead, so how is he going to help you? But you find out why this over-the-top bitch is getting this Danner guy out of the institution. And pretty much them going across the desert to get to Vernon Wells. And while Danner and this over-the-top bitch, horrible actress, I think it's Deborah Shelton, horrible, horrible actress, while they're doing that, it cuts to the two bumbling cops again from the first film, that they were not funny in the first film, they're even less funny in this film. Well, they weren't funny at all in the first one, they're not funny at all in this one. All they do throughout the entire film when you see them, when it cuts to them, is they get into a prototype car, and they're in the car doing this. Or a side view of them in the car doing this. And talking about donuts or talking about other shit. And that's how they are by the end of the film. They don't even meet a single other of our main characters. It's like they don't even arrive to the ending of the film. They're still in the fucking prototype car. So it's like, well, I guess the only fans of those two bumbling cops are the makers of this film. And that's why they decided to put them back. Because I don't know any fans of this movie. Well, maybe Dustin. If you're a fan of these films, that's fine. But I don't know any fans of these bumbling cops. It's pointless, useless, worthless, waste of resources in film. Or it cuts to the leech character from the first film, Dennis Christopher, who is sort of on his chain gang with this other guy, this big, bald guy played by Nicholas Worth. If you look him up, you may recognize him. He was in Swamp Thing as one of the bad guys, and he gets turned into like the little monster. And he was also in Darkman. He was one of the first guys that Darkman makes the face out of. Again, like a big, bald guy. And Darkman makes a face out of him. Again, he's like one of the first guys he does it. Maybe the first guy that he does that. You know, to pretend to be this guy. And his name is Rock. You wanna know why his name is Rock? Because he's in love with a rock. He has a rock that he kisses because he's not right in the head. And apparently, they even have backstory of, well, back in the day, he was a rich guy and he knew Shakespeare, but then something happened and he went crazy, and now he's on this chain gang with Leech, Dennis Christopher, who, to be honest, he got annoying in this film. And they break out and they escape. And Nicholas Worth hangs out with Dennis Christopher. And again, Nicholas Worth kisses a rock. He's in love with the rock. Thus his name is Rock. This is what I'm talking about. Useless fucking movie. And you have stupid shit like, the two bumbling cops, like I said, once again, the first time you see him, you see a fucking other cop buying a grenade from a vending machine. There's a vending machine, he pushes a button and a grenade pops out. That is stupid! Or once in a while you cut to Vernon Wells and the scientist is pretty much the scientist putting someone in, plugging it into Vernon Wells because he wants to, I need to feel the pain, being over the top. So Dan, the Romeo type guy who a lot of times he's in the straitjacket, and the over the top bitch, as they're going through the desert, either cuts to Dennis Christopher and his buddy named Rock, who kisses a rock because he's in love with a rock. Two bumbling cops that most of the time they're in a fucking prototype car, or Vernon Wells horrendously over the top. I thought he actually was. I had fun with him in the first film. Here, he's barely in the film. He's in the film less screen time, and he's doing a piss poor over the top acting job. There really nothing much. Danner and the girl, they either, oh shit, we can't get through the desert because of swamp sand. All these people. Danner tries to talk with them. They shoot him with an arrow, so the girl has to shoot them. They get their shoes to cross, and they get to a place where they can. There's just teleportation in this world, and the guy's like, "Your minds are free. You're fading, fading." And he screws up once and accidentally teleports his fucking safe of money. He gets pissed, but then he does it again and teleports them to where they need to go, which is like Brazil. That's when those two find the guys who they have, try to kill them. So the girl has to shoot them and take their shoes to get through the swamp sand. There's a sandstorm. Or it cuts back to Vernon Wells and the scientist is saying, "No, I don't want to do it." "Yes, do it, bitch." He doesn't say that, but maybe that'd be funny, or maybe that'd be more entertaining if Vernon Wells did say that. Or it cuts to Dennis Christopher and this rock, Nicholas Worth, who loves rock, in a caravan with these other people having fart noises because they're farting. And Dennis Christopher talking about rhymes like, there was a man from Nantucket. He had a big dawn. He was moving along and he put his balls in a bucket. Can't remember the fucking thing. Then Danner and the fucking over the top bitch that's taking him this place. You get like a little bit of action, and then out of the blue, there's a sex scene. There's a sex scene. And then I'll just cut to the ending. The ending is, oh, the girl, the over the top bitch, betrays Danner. But she feels bad about it. But that's why she had got him out of the men's institution. Again, why he's there, what happened to the girl in the first film. Like 5 seconds they mention the girl in the first film, but they don't lead up to what happened. Did Danner say, fuck this, I'm not going to be with you anymore? Sorry, I'm suicidal? What? Doesn't matter. I don't know why the fuck I even care. The movie doesn't, so why should I? But this girl betrayed him because the scientist is her mother, and you're like, well, wait a minute. This girl looks older than Tracy Lords. Well, you find out that the girl is also a circuitry woman. She doesn't know it yet. And Vernon Wells wanted Danner because, I guess, of something that he put in Danner when he was a baby, which you think that would have been brought up in the first movie. You would think. But it didn't, because it's pulled out of their ass. Because it's shitty writing. And it's funny because it's the same fucking writers. And then Dennis Christopher and Nicholas Worth gets there. And they find the scientist lady. Because Dennis Christopher's like, ooh, I like her. She seems hot. And for some reason, Tracy Lords doesn't have too much of a problem with this. Well, maybe I should be surprised, because it's fucking Tracy Lords. And no, you don't see Tracy Lords' tits, in case you're wondering. You don't see those tits. At least from her. You might see one scene of the over-the-top bitch in that sex scene. That's it. But they bring Danner back, and Nicholas Worth saves Leech and gets himself, you think, killed, but then no, he's not really dead. Because this Christopher finds him. And then that safe that teleported earlier, it lands on this guy in front of them. And wow, they get all this money that's in the safe. And them and Tracy Lords get out of there. And then pretty much Danner gets to Vernon Wells, plugs in. He goes, come into my mind, Vernon Wells. Vernon Wells does. And it's Danner with the fucking candle. And then the other girl coming with the candle, and then they fish kiss. That's literally what it is. They're fish kissing. Fish kissing. And Vernon Wells is as confused as we are. And then I guess because of the power of love, he blows up. That's when he has this, I threw the fucking thing. He has, if you saw the back of the DVD, you see there's a little bit of makeup change during that scene. And even the blow up isn't much. I watch fucking Scanners. I watch I watch a dozen upon a dozen movies for someone getting blown up. He blows up from the power of love. And the sets are fucking cheaper than cheap. And the old top bitch and Danner, they're happy. And this Christopher and Tracy Lords are together happy. And Nicholas Worth is coming up behind him. And for some reason, a little bit of his mind, I guess, is back because he's doing fucking Shakespeare. Because remember that backstory? He used to like Shakespeare. He's saying Shakespeare to the rock. And then the movie ends. I hate that it took fucking 14 minutes just to get through that. This movie, again, if Dustin, if you watch it, if you like these films, that's fine. If anyone likes these films, that's fine. I hate these fucking movies. I think they're worthless. I never want to see them again. They're pointless. They're worthless. They are cheaper than cheap. The first film, I don't like at all, but Vernon Wells was decent. Yeah, I had fun with him, and Dennis Christopher was okay, and there's like one or two ideas that's interesting. Circuitry Man 2 is even more low budget, even less stuff happens. Vernon Wells is even annoying, and he's in it for less, which is crazy. Dennis Christopher was more annoying. The the plot is fucking boring and stupid. There's nothing interesting, even idea-wise. This film didn't deserve a fucking sequel, because the first film sucked. This sucks even worse. So I don't even know what else to say. Circuitry Man 2 is pointless, it's worthless, it's boring, it's tedious. Nothing much happens at all, and it's a piece of shit movie. That's really all I can say. Fuck it.